My children were taught to fear me based on lies. 12 years later, their mother finally confessed to her lies. I, 42M, never thought I'd be sharing this story, but after what happened last week, I need to get it off my chest. For 12 years, my children believed I was a monster who tried to tear their family apart. They thought I was the villain who dragged their mother through court just to hurt her. Now, as their mother lies in hospice care, the truth is finally coming out. The divorce wasn't my idea. I came home from my shift at the hospital one day to find divorce papers on the kitchen counter. No warning, no discussion, just cold legal documents stating our marriage of 9 years was irretrievably broken. Our kids were only 8 and 6 at the time. At first, I thought we could handle it like adults. We agreed to split everything 50-50, including time with the kids. I even let her keep the house so the children wouldn't have to move schools. I found an apartment nearby and started building a new life. That's when things started getting weird. My daughter stopped wanting to come to my place for our weekends. My son suddenly couldn't make it to our weekly pizza nights. Every time I picked them up, they seemed more distant, more resistant. When I asked what was wrong, they'd just shrug and say they missed their mom. Then came the accusations. It started small, complaints that I was late for pickups, that I didn't pack the right lunches, that I forgot important school events. But it escalated quickly. Soon, there were allegations that I was drinking during my parenting time, that I was leaving the kids alone while I went out, that I had anger issues. None of it was true. I'm a pediatric nurse. I've spent my entire career taking care of kids. But suddenly, I was being painted as this dangerous, unstable parent who couldn't be trusted with his own children. The breaking point came when my ex filed for full custody. Her lawyer presented a stack of evidence, edited text messages, out-of-context photos, and statements from witnesses I'd never met. I was forced to hire an expensive lawyer just to defend myself against lies. The custody evaluation was a joke. The evaluator spent hours with my ex and the kids, but gave me barely 30 minutes. Every time I tried to explain my side, it was twisted into proof of my controlling behavior or inability to accept responsibility. I remember sitting in that courtroom, watching my ex testify about what a terrible father I was, feeling like I was in some bizarre alternate reality. The judge looked at me like I was dirt. My own lawyer seemed skeptical of me. And my kids, they wouldn't even look at me. The final custody order was a gut punch. I was given supervised visitation, 2 hours every other weekend. I had to pay for the supervisor, on top of the crushing child support and legal fees. My ex got everything she wanted: full custody, the house, and the power to control every aspect of my relationship with our children. I tried to fight it. I appealed, but that just drained what was left of my savings. I sent birthday cards that were returned unopened. I showed up at school events only to have my ex call security. Every attempt to maintain a connection with my kids was twisted into harassment or stalking. Years passed. My daughter's middle school graduation, my son's first basketball game, holidays, birthdays, I missed them all. The supervised visits dwindled as the kids got older and started refusing to come. By the time they were teenagers, they had completely bought into their mother's version of events. Last month, I got a call from my ex's sister. I almost didn't answer. She'd been one of the witnesses against me in court. But something made me pick up. "She's dying," she said without preamble. "Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. She's asking for you." I thought it was another trap, another way to hurt me. But then she said something that stopped me cold. She wants to tell the kids the truth before she dies. I almost didn't go to the hospice. After 12 years of lies and manipulation, why should I believe this wasn't just another trick? But something in her sister's voice sounded different. Desperate. Real. The facility was one of those places that tries too hard to not look like what it is. Cheerful paintings on the walls, soft music playing in the background, the sharp smell of disinfectant barely masked by air fresheners. My ex's sister was waiting in the lobby. She looked older than I remembered, tired in a way that went beyond physical exhaustion. "They're already here," she said quietly. "The kids." She told them she needs to confess something important. She paused, then added, "She's been talking to a therapist for the past few months. Since the diagnosis. I think she's finally ready to face what she did." My daughter spotted me first when I entered the room. She's 20 now, looking so much like her mother at that age it hurt. She immediately stood up, positioning herself between me and the bed like a shield. My son, 18 and taller than me now, remained seated but his whole body tensed. "What's he doing here?" my daughter demanded. But her mother's weak voice cut through the tension. "I asked him to come," she said. "Please sit down. All of you. I need to tell you something while I still can." The cancer had ravaged her body. The woman who once stood in court and confidently destroyed my life now looked small and frail, drowning in white hospital sheets. Her hair was gone, her skin waxy, but her eyes were clearer than I'd seen them in years. "I lied," she said simply. About everything. Your father. He was never the monster I made him out to be. He never hurt us, never neglected you, never did any of the things I claimed in court. The silence in the room was absolute. My daughter's face went pale. My son started shaking his head slowly, like he was trying to deny what he was hearing. The custody battle, she continued, her voice growing weaker. It was all based on lies. I coached you both on what to say to the evaluator. I edited those text messages. I paid people to make false statements about your father's behavior. Mom, stop, my daughter interrupted. You don't have to do this. The medication. No, she said firmly, reaching for her daughter's hand. I'm more clear-headed now than I've been in years. The medication isn't making me say this. Guilt is. She turned to look at me. Tell them what really happened. I felt the weight of my children's stares as I cleared my throat. The divorce, it blindsided me. I never knew why it happened, why their mother suddenly turned on me. I tried so hard to make the joint custody work, to stay involved in their lives. But every time I thought we were making progress, something would happen. Some new accusation, some new restriction. Because you were dangerous, my son spoke up, but his voice wavered with uncertainty. You were unstable. Mom had proof. She had lies. His aunt interrupted from the doorway. I helped her create some of them. Those photos of your dad looking drunk at pickup? We took them after he worked a 16-hour shift at the hospital. The angry voicemails. Edited to remove context. The witnesses? Paid to lie. My ex started coughing then. Harsh racking sounds that brought a nurse running. We were ushered out of the room while they adjusted her oxygen. In the hallway, my children stood as far from me as possible, both looking shell-shocked. Why? My daughter finally asked when we were allowed back in. Why would you do that to us? To him. Their mother took several shallow breaths before answering. Because I met someone else. He didn't want to deal with shared custody, with your father being in our lives. He said if I wanted a future with him, I needed to get full custody. To cut your father out completely. My daughter stumbled backward like she'd been slapped. My son made a sound I hadn't heard since he was a little boy who'd skinned his knee. The guy from your real estate office? He asked, his voice cracking. The one who lived with us for 2 years after the divorce. Their mother nodded weakly. He left anyway. Once I had full custody, once I'd done everything he asked, he found someone else. Someone younger, without kids. I was so ashamed, so guilty about what I'd done, that I just kept lying. Kept pushing your father away. It was easier than admitting the truth. I watched my children process this information, seeing 12 years of carefully constructed beliefs crumble. My daughter turned to her aunt, tears streaming down her face. You knew? All this time you knew. I did, her aunt admitted. I helped create the lie because I thought I was protecting my sister. By the time I realized how wrong it was, the damage was done. You kids already believed your father was a monster. Telling the truth then, I convinced myself it would only hurt you more. The machines started beeping faster as their mother struggled to continue. The trust fund, the one you think came from your grandparents? It was the guilt money. Your father, he kept sending extra money beyond the court-ordered support. For college, for emergencies, for anything you might need. I took his money and let you believe he never supported you at all. My son turned to me, his face a mix of anger and confusion. Why? Why would you keep sending money after after how we treated you? Because you're my kids, I said simply. Because even when you hated me, even when you believed the worst about me, I never stopped being your father. I never stopped loving you. The nurse came in then, telling us their mother needed to rest. As we filed out into the hallway, my daughter suddenly grabbed my arm. Her grip was tight enough to hurt. The basketball games, she said. Senior year. Sometimes I thought I saw you in the stands, but I told myself I was imagining things. I was there, I admitted. For both of you. Every game, every recital, every graduation. I stayed in the back, left before anyone could spot me. Your mom's restraining order was very specific about keeping my distance. There was no restraining order, their aunt cut in. That was another lie. My son slid down the wall until he was sitting on the floor, head in his hands. My wedding, he said. It's next month. I didn't. I never sent you an invitation. I told my fiancé you were dead. The silence that followed was heavy with 12 years of lost moments, of manufactured hatred, of carefully constructed lies. My daughter was the first to break it. I have a therapy appointment tomorrow, she said, not looking at any of us. Would you come with me? Maybe we could start there. 3 weeks have passed since that day in the hospice. Their mother died 2 days after her confession, taking some answers with her to the grave. We're all in therapy now, individually and together. It's hard work, unpacking 12 years of lies and rebuilding trust from scratch. My son postponed his wedding. I want to do it right, he told me last week. I want my real father there, not the monster I was taught to hate. My daughter found all the returned birthday cards in a box in their mother's closet. She's reading them now, one by one, crying over each message I tried to send across the years. Yesterday, we had dinner together, just the three of us. It was awkward and painful and beautiful all at once. My son still flinches when I move too quickly. My daughter apologizes constantly for things that were never her fault. I keep expecting to wake up and find this was all a dream. We're not okay yet. Maybe we never will be, not completely. You can't erase 12 years of pain with one deathbed confession. But we're trying. Every day we're trying. And for now, that has to be enough. Sometimes I look at old photos from before the divorce, at the happy family we used to be, and I mourn for all the years we lost. But then I look at my children now, adults who are brave enough to face the truth, to question everything they were taught to believe, to try to build something new from the ashes of all those lies, and I feel something like hope.